Right now, you probably believe you would never join a cult. You're too intelligent, too skeptical, too independent. You imagine cult members as gullible people who somehow lost the ability to think for themselves. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The psychological machinery that makes cults work is already running inside your brain. Not because your mind is weak, because your mind is human. Think about the last time your life fell apart. A breakup, moving to a new city, losing your job, the death of someone close. For a few weeks, or maybe a few months, the world felt unfamiliar. You weren't just lonely, you were untethered. That exact window is when your brain becomes most vulnerable. And the people who build cults know it. Here's why. Neuroscientist Naomi Eisenberger discovered that social rejection activates many of the same brain regions involved in physical pain. The same alarm system. Not a metaphor, the same survival circuitry. Millions of years ago, being separated from your tribe usually meant death. No protection, no food, no one to watch while you slept. So evolution solved the problem with a simple rule. Make loneliness hurt. If exclusion feels like an injury, you'll fight to reconnect. That system kept your ancestors alive. It still runs today. Your brain doesn't know the difference between being abandoned by your tribe and sitting alone in an apartment after a breakup. To your nervous system, both mean danger. And that's exactly where cult recruitment begins. Not with manipulation, with relief. Researchers call the first stage love bombing. For a while, everyone knows your name. They remember tiny details about your life. They tell you they've been waiting for someone exactly like you. Your phone fills with messages asking how you're doing. For the first time in months, you feel important, seen, safe. Your brain responds exactly as it was designed to. Oxytocin rises, dopamine spikes, stress hormones fall. Your nervous system finally relaxes. The chemistry is completely real, only the intention behind it isn't. Then something even stranger happens. Psychologist Robert Cialdini described it as the principle of commitment and consistency. It starts incredibly small. A free meal, a conversation, one meeting, helping stack a few chairs afterward. Nothing feels dangerous. But your brain quietly begins updating your identity. I keep coming back. I must like these people. This must matter to me. Every tiny decision changes the story you tell yourself. And not because you're irrational, because your brain desperately wants your actions and your identity to agree. Every small yes makes the next yes easier. Until one day, you're defending beliefs you never intended to adopt. So here's something worth asking yourself. Have you ever gone through a period where you felt completely lost and then suddenly met a person or a group that made you feel like you finally belonged? Leave your answer in the comments, because that feeling might be the most powerful force in human psychology. Getting people inside the group is only half the process. Keeping them there is where things become extraordinary. Mental health counselor and cult expert Stephen Hassan described this using something called the BITE model. Behavior, information, thought, emotion. 4 systems that slowly reshape how someone experiences reality. But the most fascinating is thought control. Imagine this. A tiny doubt appears. Wait, this doesn't make sense. Normally, your prefrontal cortex begins asking questions, looking for evidence, testing reality. Instead, you're taught to interrupt the thought. Repeat a phrase, say a prayer, sing a song, recite a mantra, again and again, until the doubt disappears, and eventually, your brain learns to silence itself automatically. The person controlling your thoughts is no longer the leader. It's you. Then comes one of the strangest discoveries in psychology. In the 1950s, psychologist Leon Festinger studied a doomsday group convinced the world would end on a specific date. The prophecy failed, nothing happened. Logic says everyone should have walked away. Many did, but the most committed members became even more devoted. Why? Because admitting the truth would have been psychologically devastating. Imagine sacrificing years of your life, money, relationships, family, identity, then realizing it was all built on a lie. Your brain would rather rewrite reality than experience that level of psychological pain. Psychologists call this cognitive dissonance. When reality and identity collide, the brain often changes reality first, not because people are stupid, because identity is one of the strongest forces your brain protects. Eventually, something even deeper happens. Sociologist Janja Lalich calls it bounded choice. Your friends are inside, Your purpose is inside, your language is inside, your identity is inside. Leaving doesn't feel like changing your opinion. It feels like disappearing. That's why escaping isn't simply walking away, it's rebuilding an entire self from scratch. Now step back for a second. None of this only applies to cults. The same psychology appears in extremist movements, conspiracy communities, abusive relationships, online echo chambers, even some companies. Anywhere belonging becomes more important than truth. The same software begins running because your brain evolved to protect connection long before it evolved to evaluate information. Truth mattered, but belonging mattered first. Without belonging, there was no tomorrow, which brings us back to you. The real lesson isn't that cult members are different. It's that they aren't. The frightening part isn't that manipulation exists. It's that your own survival instincts can mistake manipulation for safety. The need to belong is one of the oldest instincts your brain possesses. It's why humans built civilizations, raised families, created religions, formed nations, and sometimes followed the wrong people. Understanding that doesn't make you immune, but it gives you something most people never realize they need. The ability to recognize the architecture before you're standing inside it. Because manipulation rarely begins with fear. It begins with relief, with warmth, with someone making you feel understood exactly when you needed it most. And sometimes, the most dangerous place your mind can ever arrive is the place that immediately feels like home. If this changed the way you think about belonging, subscribe to Call Me Different. Because every week, we uncover another hidden piece of human psychology that has been quietly shaping your life all along. And watch the next video, Why Your Memory is Lying to You. Because the mind that protects you also edits your past. And once you see how, you'll never trust your memories the same way again.